You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
There was an idea. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more.
I have an army. We have a Hulk.
This is the Marvel Tribe, brought to you by Walt's Apartment Podcast and the DisInsider.
Avengers!
Assemble.
What up, tribe? Looks like Sam is taking lead in the captain's chair here. So
I don't know how that just happened.
I'm gonna throw it to Sam, and I'm gonna let her introduce the entire gang to everybody. What's up, Sam? How you doing?
I mean, since you showed up late.
I was late by 3 minutes. My computer had to restart, and y'all know how my Indiana Wi-Fi works. So, but if I'm going to take the helm, I got this. So welcome everyone to the Marvel Tribe. Well, sorry, the Tribe. See, I'm already messing up. We took it out. Welcome to the Tribe. We are doing our season recap for X-Men 97. We are super stoked to talk about it. So today we have with us, per usual, the Blerd Hulk and Lou Knight. And honestly, I just hopped in and I did not get an introduction to Ryan. So Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because I'm just learning who you are right now too, friend.
So I've known Louis for 14 years, right? Yeah.
That explains why I didn't get an introduction. You're friends with Louis, and he gives really bad introductions.
And
That is true.
if you guys ever do anything X-Men, like that's my jam. I read all the X-Men. I've read all Paramount, most of the 90s, most of the 2000s, all the Krakoa era, all the new stuff. So I love X-Men stuff.
Well, we're glad to have you. Thank you for joining us. And you're always welcome here on
Ryan's
the Tribe. We always
resident
love people who have, X-Men, because that's not my forte. And we will talk about that today.
Sam David, this is Ryan. Ryan, that's Sam David.
Oh, hey. What's up, man?
On my screen, you're playing the wrong.
That's okay. Everything's a little backwards here on StreamYard. So, Lou, overall thoughts of X-Men 97?
Wait. Ask Lou if he watched the entire season.
Hey, Lou, did you happen to catch the season finale and watch the entirety of the X-Men 97 season?
Yes, I'm playing. I did not catch the season. I did not catch the season finale. Somewhere in our chats, Mr. Sean Fury was asking when and where we are finishing up X-Men 97 on all chat lines we had. And I'm going to find it and put it on my Instagram. So if you're following me at
I do remember saying this. I do remember saying it.
No, it's already ended. So when I saw 9 episodes, I was like, I'm going to binge watch it. So I'm sitting at work. I binge watched it. I saw the way episode 9 ended. Kind of reminded me vaguely of the way the cartoon ended before with Professor X. I was like, whoa, okay. We're going with like a retro cliffhanger. Little did I know that they kept with the retro cliffhanger, but it was in episode 10 that I did not know existed until 9 minutes ago. So no, I've not watched it.
All good.
So,
it's all good. Oh.
So in the words of X-Men 97, it is to be continued on my end.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yeah.
So, Lou, we're going to have you do like you know what we were going to do for this episode? We were going to stream to TikTok. And we totally forgot. We'll save that for next episode.
Someone showed up late and didn't get us together. So
yeah, senior TikTok over there. You didn't TikTok in on the TikTok.
Anyways, so look for us on TikTok in 2 weeks, and we'll have to have Lou give you his finale there. His finale recap there. Okay, Lou, overall. What do you think of the season? Give it a rating, 1 to 10. 1 being it was absolute trash, and 10 being it's the best thing the MCU's ever produced.
And knowing that your rating doesn't count since you watched the whole season.
Damn. So I'm gonna stick to what I did with since this started. I have 2 scores. For me, on the nostalgia aspect of it, the way it was made, intro, all that, everything, I'm going at 10 for that. Story-wise and watching it as an adult, I'm sitting around a 7.5 at an 8. That's where I'm sitting at for this as a show. But if you guys have been following the tribe, you know 9 is my highest. So sitting at a 7.58 on a normal person scale, that's an 8.59. I don't give 10s unless it's for that nostalgia purpose. But for me, it's a 7.58. Probably be a solid 8 based on the mild rumors I've already heard with the finale in the last 10 minutes.
All right. Let's shoot it to our guest next. Ryan, if you had to give this series, this season, a rating 1 to 10, what would you give it?
Probably around 7.5, 8. Like, in terms of just story, it might be the best we've had of X-Men on TV or movies. I love Logan. Logan's a better movie, but I don't consider that X-Men. That's Wolverine, right? I did think they rushed through like Inferno, which is probably one of my favorite stories of all time. They rushed through that. Life Death was okay. The whole Storm and Forge, like some of it was really good, some of it not. I kind of didn't like taking Storm out in the middle of the story, but they hit all the nostalgia. Like I was mentioning before this, I'd never thought I'd see Cloak and Dagger. I'm not even a huge fan of Cloak and Dagger, but to throw them there, like that was crazy. Doing T'Chaka, like it's the 90s instead of doing T'Challa. Giving us like the 90s Iron Man suit and MJ with Peter. It was they hit everything that I need from an X-Men story too. Like giving Magneto, like, is he a villain? Is he not? No, he's right, but he's also a little extreme. Like that's perfect. And then the setting up for next season is gonna be crazy. Like I already read that they're doing a lot of what is their name? I just said their name too. Not Chris Claremont. One of my favorite writers of all time. They did like Doom Patrol and X-Men. They did E for Extinction. And I forgot their name right now. But yeah, I'm excited.
So 1 to 10, you said you're about a 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5, 8. If they hit Inferno and gave it like time to breathe, the storyline with Madeline Pryor, that would have given me a 9 or a 10. So yeah.
You think we're gonna get Onslaught?
All right. Me personally, it's like my least favorite story. If they're going to give me something 90s.
It's the most boringest freaking story there is for an OP character.
They tried. I think they juked us with that. Like the whole like, oh, if you get stuck, then they're going to combine, then you're going to get Onslaught. Like, but if you're going to give me 90s and it's not going to be Claremont and it's not going to be Grant Morrison, that was the name I was going to give. Grant Morrison. Give me Age of Apocalypse.
I like the tease, and I'm glad it didn't come to fruition. But we still have season 2.
All right, Blerd Hulk, 1 through 10.
I'm giving it a 9. I don't really care too much about other than if it was entertaining to me. It brought back nostalgia. I told you guys when the premiere for episode 1 came on, I threw on my PJs, grabbed a bowl of cereal, and I literally sat in my living room, watched my big ass screen TV, which I didn't have when I was a kid. So it was extra special for me, and it paid off. Every episode was progressively better than the last. I love the storylines, the stories they grabbed from the comics. I agree, Ryan. There's some they could have expanded on and made it a little bit more drawn out and stuff, and added some more depth to some of the characters. But what they did with it, man, Remy, that
hurt.
It did. I wasn't expecting to have the feels and stuff, but it was really amazingly well done. It shows that Marvel has what it takes to deliver brilliant content to just, and I'm not bashing live action because you know me, I'm a Marvel fanboy and stuff, but I also know there's areas and pieces that always can be improved upon and fixed better, and just done in the right way. They have no excuse going forward. I think it really kind of is riding a ship. You're always going to get haters and people are going to say stuff. This is why I said it fits nicely into the MCU, because as it progresses, we need another solid home run banger, and we got that with this animated. I'm gonna be honest. I've always been a kind of a DC cartoon, because they have that kind of just the way they tell their stories in the animated stuff. They get away with a lot of stuff. They did it. It was really nice. I loved how it wrapped up. I gave it only a 9 out of a 10 because I know season 2 was written. It's in the hopper, and there's some things I want to see. It happened in season 2 that will then get me to rank season 1 a perfect 10.
And we'll make sure that we leave time for that conversation of what we would like to see at the end of this episode. So I'll be honest, for me going into this, when we recorded our first episode, I was like, I don't have the nostalgia factor. Like, I wasn't that Saturday morning cartoon kid. I had X-Men comics, but they weren't my favorite comics to read. And I struggle in general with animated series. I much prefer live action. So getting through the first couple episodes, I was kind of and I've been so busy, I kept falling asleep during them. So I promised the tribe that I would go back and I would rewatch them with fresh eyes. And I did that. And holy cow, it was a completely different experience. I kind of love it. And I'm giving it like an 8.5, 9 for the storytelling alone.
Nice.
And the emotional connection that I was actually able to build to the characters. And that is something that for me, that's what buys me in. That's what makes me want to stay. I have to be invested in the characters or else I don't care. And I was texting the chat when I was finishing, and I'm reading it right now. And I said, I'm getting sick of crying because of an X-Men cartoon. Like, Beast quoting Mr. Rogers shouldn't make me cry when he was saying, after the Genosha incident,
find the good people. Yeah.
Look for the helpers.
Look for the helpers.
And I was crying in almost every episode. So for it to invoke that emotional response for me means I was able to have, I thought the character development was there for a lot of the characters. Love seeing Jubilee and Sunspot developing as characters. And they're just, are they completely necessary? No, but they at the end they were, right? But they're just quirky and fun.
So,
and
Sunspot's character, it took me almost until he finally used his powers, and it was like, oh, okay, you're relevant. Because for halfway through, I was like, okay, what are we doing with this character? They really didn't do it, and then it flipped. And when it flipped, I was like, oh. All right.
But I think that's his character development too, because it shows what it was really like being a mutant in the real world and having this adverse reaction to your own powers.
He was a kid that's walking in two worlds. He came from a very privileged, very wealthy background, family. And he understood that world. He can navigate in that world and stuff. He never asked for this, just like most of the mutants never did. But it was that pinnacle moment where his parents were like, "Bye," do what they say, which is the most effed up thing I've seen and stuff. You would have thought rich people would use something to get him out of it. Let him stay here. You don't need to go. No, she sent them to,
because she cared more about her image than she did.
She didn't even care. She didn't even care and ask, where are you taking him? What are you about to do with my
No,
kids?
because it was about protecting her image.
So I think that really kind of solidified where he's like, you know what? I'm a mutant. And I'm gonna rock this banner and stuff. He still struggles. You can see that and stuff because he ain't going to be Sunspot 24/7 and stuff. But
so I'm gonna throw a question out with characters. Overall season.
Here's the forecast.
Favorite character.
Mostly sunny.
Least favorite character. And let's start with Sam. Favorite character of the season that you felt was your favorite. Just fun to watch. Overall good character. Doesn't have to be the best or that. but this character that you always felt that you enjoyed watching, and your least favorite character that you watched. And it doesn't mean least, let me clarify for the people listening. Hold on. It doesn't mean least that they're bad, that you were just kind of like, yeah, I thought like they were there, but.
Yeah, no, I got you. I think that my favorite character was probably Cyclops. Just seeing like his different battles that he was going through, which he had the hardest shit hit him in this episode, like the hardest shit. And I mean, he navigated it and he still like did what he had to do for the team, for the X-Men. Least favorite, Rogue.
Whoa, what?
That's a wild take. Wow. Okay.
Least favorite is Rogue because she did Gambit dirty. Like, fuck Magneto, dude.
She's a real person with real feelings too.
Wow.
And but that's the thing is you can't say you have feelings for both of them. You can't. You have
that's real life.
She chose Magneto for the wrong reasons. She chose Magneto.
That's a different thing, yeah. But you know, I mean,
so for me, my emotional connection to her was not there. I was just like, "You're being an asshole right now."
So you're telling me, since that happened in one episode, you're telling me one episode defined the entire character for a season?
Well, watching her jump back and forth between them and her sneaking around with Magneto.
That's excellent.
And then still being his Shuri.
I mean, I'll wait a second. Go ahead.
All right.
That's personified soap opera, which is what X-Men is. And stuff.
Okay. Well, it doesn't mean okay. So I pinned her. I pinned her as the homewrecker. Essentially, she's breaking up the team, man.
The kind of same thing with Cyclops. I mean, it was in his head, but him and Madeline were still kind of doing the thing after King came back. I like that.
Yeah, but well, dang, you're right. Now you got me thinking, Ryan.
So, I gotta kind of like that scene where Cyclops is having that like mental cheating moment when it breaks and Jean's like, "What are you doing?" I just cut back to the movie Couples Retreat. And
she literally just kissed Logan, by the way.
And she was like, I thought of a Couples Retreat. Like, they're like, the highlight reel. Is that cheating? And when I saw that entire scene, all I could think of was Couples Retreat. And that scene where Jon Favreau's telling the highlight reel. It's like, no. And it just pulled me out of that whole scene. But that scene it's pretty interesting.
Not only is Sam, a hater, but she's also a sexist hypocrite.
I was just going to say.
She's not giving the same energy to Cyclops.
Witchcraft. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, that scene, though, Cyclops, that was straight out of Grant Morrison's. Now, it was with Emma Frost, which is a whole nother story, but it's a crazy story. But Emma Frost coming out as Diamond, yet again, Grant Morrison. I want to give Bo, I think his name, Bo DeMaio, props. He picked two of the greatest comic book writers of the last 40 years. And, look, between the two of them, I got 20 years of comics. I'm going to just nail them down. And I think that's what a lot of the movies might be missing is they're not grabbing from the best that they could.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, totally off.
I agree with that too.
No, that's. I almost had to switch the logo there for trying to Matt Tea Party. That was all right. That was he was hitting it. All right, well let's cut to you, Ryan. Favorite two characters, favorite and then least favorite character.
Okay.
Let's stay away from that again.
Okay, so I still have to go with Rogue as my favorite. I think she went straight bananas. Like how powerful they showed how powerful she is. And on a side note, they also gave Jubilee her due because people want things just firecrackers. No, her power is the most powerful fireworkers you could think of. That's what she can do. But back to Rogue, what she went through, and why I don't like Rogue with Magneto. There's all kinds of problems with it. It makes sense why it works. And it gives me what I want from X-Men. I want soap opera. I want the mutant metaphor. I want you can't trust the government.
But she didn't even show up to Gambit's funeral.
That is...
She's grieving in her own way.
I'm not going to judge people for their grief. That's
I'm judging Rogue. She should have been there dressed in black.
Then my least favorite, it'll probably surprise Lou, it would be Nightcrawler because I love Nightcrawler. They didn't give him much. They didn't give him that much.
They didn't. They just had him move, and I love so that's one of the characters that I actually
to duel with the swords.
No, the fight's great. I want swashbuckling, sweeping women off their feet.
Yeah.
My gosh, I love Nightcrawler as a character. Like that's one of the only characters I have much exposure to, and I think I loved him because he speaks German, and I speak German, so like that was why I gravitated towards him as a character. But I wanted to see more from Nightcrawler as well.
And like they did the whole religious thing, but we've already had that in all the movies, all that kind of stuff. The sad, a little bit mopey. I want fun swashbuckling because he's supposed to
Spicy.
be spicy. He's supposed to be like Spider-Man. Like they all thought when he was brought into the comics, they all thought that he was going to be hated or like scary to people, and they got tons of fan mail about how sexy Nightcrawler is when he first came in, and they're like, we're going to lean into this, start giving him a beard and like make him suave, and I'm like, he's been like that since the mid or early 80s, late 70s, and we still haven't got that on TV. Or other than that, he's my favorite. I can't pick a favorite. I pick a favorite child. But the character is an X-Men, and so they didn't do him bad. They just do him as good as I wanted. I have a higher expectation for Nightcrawler. I didn't have any problems with anybody else. I love Magneto too. Like that speech that he did when he brought everybody up above Earth and was like pretty much saying like, I am better than you because I'm not killing you. That's my Magneto. I hate whenever they regret this. I hate when they always have to bring him back to a villain. I get it, status quo, long comic book fans don't like change, but Magneto is supposed to be like a gray area, and that's why I want. So that's why he wasn't my favorite, but he wasn't my least favorite because they did him well.
David?
So I keep going back and forth, and it's back and forth between both Ryan and Sam. I love them all, but it really is like picking your favorite child. But Rogue or Cyclops, but I'm gonna have to go with Cyclops because they gave my man the representation that Fox could not give. They gave that shit to, and all respect to God, what was his name? Hugh Jackman who played Wolverine, but the real badass of that group, that leader is Cyclops and stuff. He had the biggest struggles. He came out as he's just an all around badass, combatant, a leader, strategist, fighter. It's just so they paid homage to that and put him squarely back where he needed to be, despite him having to deal with all of this stuff that he's been battling with and stuff. So for me, Cyclops, absolutely. But Rogue, I was right there because they finally showed off how freaking superior and badass she is. And I'm not gonna lie, the scene I have that had me teetering was when she took Cap's shield and threw that shit and like, go fetch. I was dying. That was like, yeah. And
what did she say? America's bodyguard?
Yeah.
America's favorite cop, whatever.
Yeah, America's favorite cop.
Oh, man.
But the fact that I mean, the whole interaction. I mean, Cap knew he couldn't do shit to her as she slowly peeled that shield back, and then she flew up and it's like, go fletch. You don't want to help. So, but I'm giving it to my man Cyclops. My least favorite, and this might be a little bit of a country, I don't know, is Professor X. Professor X is an asshole. He's not America's favorite dad. I don't care what people have this weird persona of who he is and stuff, which is fine because not everyone read the comics or anything else and stuff. But he is kind of an asshole, and they almost kind of killed some of that, those layers and stuff. They went right up to it, and then they just kind of pulled back. Did Indiana kick her off the?
No. It was just with the camera off. Trying to think of the YouTube play as well. Sorry about that.
No. So Professor X, I wish they kind of showed. I mean, there's the interaction he had with Cyclops. I really wish that was kind of fleshed out more. I really wanted to have Cyclops give him the full business, Period. Like, you're a piece of shit for what you did. You know all this. You got better. You could have came back any point in time, but you just was, So yeah, Professor X. I would love to have seen more character flaws with him than what we did. Like, they made it.
They painted him as a perfectionist.
Yeah, it's like kind of an understandable way. Like, oh, he was struggling about staying, not staying in the ghetto of the universe. He wanted to be with these people and rule, and it's okay, fine.
Yeah, that's always a weird one, and you're not the only one. Kitty Pride agrees with you, Professor.
Yeah. Professor Xavier. Sure.
So number one meme, I love that one. That's on the 70s as well. Yeah, actually, Professor X is a good choice though, because as it is, I've always believed that the X-Men would be better if they moved off from him. Yes. Like, the most recent comics, Krakoa, actually has worked pretty well with him, but I still say he's been around since the very beginning. It's time for him to move on. Let the stories grow without him.
I agree with that. All right, Lou Knight. What about you? Your favorite, your worst?
I don't disagree with any of your guys' least favorite except Sam. Sam, I don't know where you were coming with that one. That was a wild one.
Don't my answers typically never compare to your guys's?
No, I feel like I'm usually the opposite, but you can have that seat today. It's perfectly fine.
Okay, well, I am sitting in the main chair, so we got this. Go ahead, keep going.
So I love all of your guys' like the way you guys pitched your favorites. I think it worked really well. I think for me, my favorite comes off of a different foot. I just looked at it from like characters overall. Watching them, kind of just what's on the screen. For me, it's going to be Remy, Gambit. I really liked that character. I liked the fun they did, the comedy they did with it, the really just overall character. He was one that I could pull out of that cartoon and see a live action movie, not with Channing Tatum, in the big screen. Like, he was a character that I'm like, okay, that's something I could see on the big screen. So I had a lot of fun with him.
I would love to get a Gambit backstory movie.
Yeah, I was hoping that
Channing might do a good job, maybe.
I was hoping he really didn't die, but the way he went out was really cool. That was pretty tight. But my least favorite, and I think around the room we're hitting shockers, Wolverine. Wolverine was a bust for me this season. I mean, the episode 9, my season finale, I thought he finally got some Wolverine action, but for the most part, him and honorable mention for my least favorite, him and Beast kind of got forgotten in some parts of the season. Like, I just felt like there were moments where you almost expected them to pop up to be part of that, and they never were. They were like Shaggy and Scooby from Scooby-Doo. They were there, but they weren't there. And it was, for
Same
me,
with
it was
Morph.
Morph, yeah.
Morph, I thought they put him in the right spots when they needed him. But Morph, I never bought into as like the team. Wolverine, and it could be the fact, kind of like what David said, Professor X, watching so much of like the Fox films and knowing that Wolverine is a huge player in those, and having to realize, hey, he was a big player, but he wasn't the big three in X-Men. He was always kind of in the background. But for me, I wanted more from him, and we didn't get that.
I mean, he's always been, to me, kind of a loner in the group. He does what you have to do with the group. He goes his own way. He's obstinate against the direction sometimes, but he's completely content and happy doing his own shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Wolverine, he's gotten so much play though that they're like, this is going to be X-Men. I want to spend more time on X-Men. Wolverine. Like I said, Logan's probably still one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I can go with X-Men without Wolverine at all, or just have him there for the fun one-liners and some action. They didn't give him enough action, and unfortunately for you, the 10th episode's not going to help. 10th episode will help with Beast a little.
Mm-hmm.
And then Morph, I think they've been used for good comedy, and they were used for like really good Easter eggs.
Yeah, so that was something that I loved about Morph is obviously Morph has to have exposure to someone, has to have seen someone to morph into them, correct? So when he starts morphing into the Avengers, I'm like, wait, that's dope. Like, so wait, the Avengers are here. We're in the same world.
Yeah.
We're in the same world. So that for me was like a nice, and then the Avenger cameos. For me, it was like a nice little bow on everything, and it was like, okay, so they can kind of integrate it this way and say, hey, the Avengers are working their storylines, but the X-Men have kind of been here all along. So I appreciated that.
And the original cartoon did that with Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man one. No, they've done it. They had like Nick Fury, like the old '90s Nick Fury and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, but now this is MCU. So like now they're in the MCU with our MCU characters, right? So
and me, I like that they didn't abuse the Hulk, the Captain America, the characters we know. Granted, I haven't seen episode 10 now, but the ones we have seen.
Morph turn into the Hulk was probably one of my favorite
It was really cool. I like that they didn't abuse that. Me, I'm on the opposite though. I don't think I see the integration, and I hope they don't try to use this storyline as like, hey, that's the blueprint, and now they're in the MCU live actions, and we hope you watch that, because that could be translated kind of mildly good and bad. I mean, we saw that with Star Wars, where some people are like, that's not how the cartoon said it. If you're saying the cartoon's part of this, I hope they don't. I hope they leave X-Men 97 completely alone and have two different X-Men stories going live action and animated, just because I feel like that would be rough, and it'll take the nostalgia out of the animated feature.
You want to know where I think we get the transition?
They'll cherry content. That's just kind
I
of
think we get the transition in What If.
Well, that's what they do. I mean, that's what they did with Carter and Doctor Strange. We got some cherry picked cameos into the real MCU, and I think that's how it's going to be. And stuff.
By all means, utilize What If that way. I'm all down. X-Men 97, I feel like leave that alone. Keep just going on this journey.
I think having X-Men 97 opens the door to do it in What If. They couldn't just pull the X-Men into the What If, in my opinion, without having X-Men 97 first.
Well, X-Men is there. I mean, we see it in Captain Marvel. I mean, we saw Beast. I mean, they're in the universe. How these characters are going to be like for like, because they're going to be part of whatever different timeline, whatever universe and stuff, and however that's going to play out and stuff. So, but we're gonna. I think it's more of a character introduction. You get more of that in depth of, like, there's people who saw Beast have no clue other than, as far as the X-Men Fox movies and stuff like that. So we got to see the MCU, the continuity of the cartoon of what Beast is and stuff, this brilliant, acrobatic blue furry monster and stuff. And we got a short glimpse of them in Captain Marvel and stuff. So I think
love getting to see
until we get an X-Men movie and stuff from them.
I loved getting to see Beast's brain. I loved getting to see Forge, honestly. Like, that was an unexpected surprise for me. Storm,
Miss Omega level goddess herself,
dude. But like him telling her, like, you don't need your powers to be a goddess. Like, damn facts. Like, she's like a freaking queen. And like she just needed to remember that. And like when he needed that cacti, and she crawled through there with no abilities and like did some badass shit that is like not easy to do without having any of her superhuman powers. I think that kind of like rekindled her, like, hey, I can do hard shit. Like,
I wish they played that storyline out longer. And
I agree. I wanted more from that. It went from like they're fantastic and great and like he's trying to help her to now they're in this bad, like they're arguing with each other, to now they're in this chaos, right, with the demon thing. I don't even remember what it's called at this point. And then like crazy, like it was so much in such a short time that I was bouncing all over the place. But for me, being the adventurous, like outdoorsy girl that I am, and like wanting to do those things, Storm reminded me of what it's like when you have to pull from deep within to get shit done. And so I liked getting to see that.
And then I think what they did really well, from that X-Men's always done really well, is not only is it a soap opera, but they gave time to friendships in there, like, really well. Morph and Wolverine,
Right.
Storm and Jean, like calling each other sisters. Like they did a really good job on not just making it all about relationships with other people, but
I mean, even Jubilee and Sunspot, like they're in this weird situationship, right? But it started as this cute little friendship that she's just trying to guide him into the right direction and telling him, like, you're safe here. You're finally somewhere where you can be you and you can be safe. And then obviously they formed attachment to each other and spending time together. But I even think they gave a good amount of time to their relationship becoming something. So I agree. I like that too.
Yeah,
Talking about the bedroom scene.
Okay, I'm gonna. So the Motendo when he tells her, sorry, like Dazzler was busy. I died laughing. He was like, you weren't number one. Dazzler was busy, but you'll do. It was so funny to me.
Yeah, there was a lot of good storylines. Then I think there was some that I think that I wish they would have went longer. I think Cyclops and the Three Companies thing. I wish that would have really went a little bit more longer because it was so blotchy. But they did a good job at keeping you up to date with where it's at. But I felt like there was some storylines that were missed. The Professor X and I don't even know what they're called, but where he was at.
the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
Yes, that storyline. I felt like it was plugged in, and I think it never tapered in. It tapered out pretty good, at least from what I've seen so far. But I really felt like that came out of nowhere. I wish they would have mildly worked their way into that.
So they were definitely rushing that storyline because that is a storyline in the comics and it was rushed.
Yeah.
But I feel like at some point he's going to end up back there because he does love her. He saw that. I know. I don't know. I think the hopeless romantic in me is like, wait, he does love her and he felt at peace there.
He doesn't love her. That was convenience.
He loves Magneto.
Yes. He's in love with Magneto.
They love
And the drama and the shit that he brings. He doesn't love her. That's why I say people have this weird persona of Professor X. He's not a good guy.
Plain Fox. Yeah, it's people don't want to look at some of the stuff he does. Like what he did to Magneto, it was the right thing to do in terms of saving the world.
Yeah.
You didn't see this, Lou, but he took over Magneto to force him to reverse the magnetism of the Earth. Good thing to do to Earth. That's something you do to your best friend, not to somebody you love. And
he told him, like, you're breaking bro code, basically. Like, you're breaking our contract.
Yeah, and he isn't the best person. Now, he has the best dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
The question is how sustainable it is. And then we get back to the whole mutant metaphor of who's right, Professor X or Magneto. And
but I did like
now
that
Magneto is right.
Well, but also Magneto, at one point, this was Magneto's dream too.
Yeah.
And he said, this is our dream. So I would like to see more of Magneto in charge again, I think. And just him still struggling. Like, he's still going to be struggling with, obviously, the shitty things that humans have done to him. But I liked him as a leader, honestly. I did like him as a leader.
They did rush that. I'd almost want a whole season of him as a leader. They came out swinging. They want to hit like a bunch of big stories in one season. Good news, hey, I got to see E for Extinction. They changed the name, but E for Extinction, Inferno, Life Death, all that. Like, I'd never thought I'd ever see half of those on the TV, and I got to see it. They just didn't give him room to breathe. And then something I totally forgot because they made us forget about him, Bishop. He was there for the first episode or two, and then we got him for a 30-second stinger at the end. I'm like, you did Bishop dirty like that.
They did. And like, honestly, I wanted to see more building with Cable as well. I wanted more of that backstory, so I'm hoping we get more of that at some point.
I mean, that's kind of how the end credit kind of set up. With Ethan coming out and stuff.
With Bishop,
we're gonna get more with Bishop too. Him and Forge kind of building the new X-Men team to kind of go rescue or figure out how the timeline jumping and figure that piece out. And I think season 2, I'm liking it because we're gonna deal with past, present, and future. You know, and it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be pretty stellar and stuff. We're going to have Apocalypse. I think we're going to get. I'm just going to say this: if you guys haven't seen the spoiler, the fans out there, you shouldn't be listening to this show yet. But if
I'm out. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you don't care, then it is what it is and stuff. But yeah, so we're getting Apocalypse. I think we're gonna get the Four Horsemen. Honestly, I think Gambit is going to play Death. He's going to reprise that role. I think it was foreshadowed, and I don't have enough information on this other than the fact that we have Apocalypse in the present at Genosha, picking up the card from the ashes and stuff. We have the image that Professor X saw of Gambit with the skull face and everything. So, and he played Death as one of the writers for Apocalypse in the comics. So I think we're gonna get that. Who's gonna take the other position? Well, hell, there's a whole field of dead mutants that can take that place. So
yeah, and then I think there's a nice little Easter egg. You mentioned the little map of X-Men and stuff like that. It was like Days of Future Past map, but just changed the way they did the little tags. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some people mad about this. I'm going to just laugh at them like dust. That's like a new character from Grant Morrison. Mm-hmm. Not the best way to introduce the first Muslim character, but still, like, he's one of the first Muslim characters. Here you go. Like, it's X-Men, and deal with it.
Yep.
So I'm looking for that Magic. I saw Magic on there. Colossus. We might get some Rasputins.
So I'm going to need some comic book recommendations before season 2. So for as far as X-Men comics go, because I have just like random ones that my dad collected for me, but I'm going to need some that I'm not afraid to take out of the sleeves because I'll damage them. Because those are like
Marvel Unlimited, like $10 a month, a lot cheaper.
I'm like a print person. Like I will go to my local comic book store and
local comic book shops.
Yeah, I will go and I will buy them. So if y'all just slide me the titles later, I will go grab them.
Anything written by Grant Morrison, anything written by Chris Claremont before 1991.
All right.
Nothing after 1991.
All right. Because I want to be prepared. I like reading the source material before consuming media. So
yeah, Grant Morrison's I think it's like 4 years of writing X-Men. It's some of the best stuff that's happened since the 2000s. I don't say anything Grant Morrison because they're Batman's great. Sorry, completely off topic right there, but
no, you're fine.
Grant Morrison is known as it's pretty much them and Alan Moore as the greatest writers of the last 40 years, and I'd go Grant Morrison over Alan Moore.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can skip Onslaught and Return of Iceman. Just don't.
Just skip the 90s.
Just skip the 90s. So anything Grant Morrison before 91.
Grant Morrison's after.
Oh,
after. Yeah, don't skip the 90s. I didn't say that at all.
All right. I joke, but after 91 and before 99, you got Age of Apocalypse. Amazing. You got the marriage of Jean and Cyclops. We also have the story they're doing with the future where Jean and Cyclops go to the future.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Where's that one? What's that one?
Run into their daughter.
Yeah. Thank you. People know Rachel.
Yeah. Summers is back. So we got.
Oh, man. If you want to
talk about family drama, man, 2 baby mamas and the dad in the middle.
The different futures. So Rachel Summers is from Days of Future Past in the comics, and she came to here, so it was different universe and all that. The Summers family tree is the most fun you'll ever have trying to decipher. And there was times where I thought Gambit was part of it. The Summers
isn't he in the comics?
It's with everything with X-Men. There's a lot of subjective, but it's never written on paper. Keep why they'll never say it until a few years ago. But yeah, so.
Okay, so I'm going to need Ryan's number, and I'm just going to call him at my local comic book shop and be like, this is what they have for X-Men. Tell me what to buy.
There you go.
All right.
Favorite cameo, and I say this lightly because obviously, Morph played most of the cameos and stuff, but we got some real cameos and stuff. And I'm gonna go first on this because I'm a huge Daredevil fan, and seeing Hell's Kitchen and seeing Daredevil, and right before we see Cloak and Dagger and stuff was freaking awesome. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding. So for me, that was one of my favorite. King T'Chaka was good. I knew it was King T'Chaka because of the cape. T'Challa's not wearing the cape, donning the 90s, what his dad did and stuff. Seeing the Dora Milaje was new and weird because that's also wasn't part of the comic or in the 90s cartoons. They didn't exist then until was it Takashi? I can't remember until his run and stuff, which was much later. But it was kind of cool that they just retconned that, and you see the Dora Milaje with King T'Chaka. But yeah, seeing Daredevil, Hell's Kitchen, that was pretty dope. From that one.
Then Cap and T'Chaka talking to the president, like, this is a dumb idea. Like,
that was like before the Magneto Protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite too. Was that Cap and T'Chaka scene? Yep.
But then,
I think Cap was my favorite cameo.
Yeah. And then Daredevil, just his fighting. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah. Lou?
Well, since I didn't get to see the grand finale of cameos, I'm going to go in my playing field, and I got to go Cap and Rogue. I thought that was fun. The way they did it, it had the Ant-Man and Anthony Mackie from Civil War kind of not Civil War, Winter Soldier.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, thank you. Yeah, Ant-Man. That little cameo reminded me of that with Rogue and Captain America. So I'll go with that one. That was probably my favorite cameo.
I mean, Cap actually played a great role. It was good seeing Cap. Honestly, he got his ass whooped. Like he just
got punked. He got punked a little.
He did. I mean, like he was
goody two-shoes, do things right.
Yeah, and Rogue totally utilized that to her advantage. So
Genosha, we got all kinds of like lesser known X-Men. There's Glob Herman. He's the guy that's all pink gelatin with just a skeleton.
Yes.
I was like watching that Genosha scene, and I was like, I probably should know who these characters are because they're probably relevant, but I don't, and it hurts my soul so bad right now. So please continue.
Yeah.
The Hell's part, I forgot most of the characters. Like it was jogging my. I'm like, holy, I know that character. I don't know their name. I know that character, but
like I knew a lot of them, but like I don't know all of them. Like like there's Pixie, there's Glob. I think there's a bunch of other ones I saw. And then we got Nightcrawler, and I was all excited. And like I said, I commissioned a piece from Lou of Nightcrawler because he's one of my favorites and probably the best thing to see on art. Speaking of art, animation on this show. We haven't even talked about the animation on this. It was
beautiful.
I totally just jumped in there, but like the animation is the action, like the way they were able to do that, the way they the seamless Cyclops eye blast, them using their different powers, like Remy charging up Wolverine's claws and then destroying the ghost staff, charge that up, and like I love it when they use their powers together. And like sure, the fastball special when Colossus throws Wolverine's the original, but there's so much more you can do. And then I think Storm had the most badass one when she lightning up the sand, turned into glass,
turning the glass tornado, freaking like,
and just shredding Sentinels. Like I'm like that's Storm from the comics. That's what I want, not what we got in the movies. Like, oh, she can do fog.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, they disrespected her.
They disrespected her, and they gave Jean Grey like, hey, she kind of has a Phoenix, but it's not in there 100%. So she's powerful, and she was already Omega level. Like,
you know what?
You put respect on them.
I just remembered this. I also love that they brought up talking about Nexus events. So that was something else that
standard points in time.
Points in time.
No matter what happens, it just how it kind of weaves the timelines together.
And we know that in the MCU as Nexus events. So like, I thought that was another nice like integration way.
So there's it's a little bit it's a little different. Correct me if I'm wrong and stuff, because standard points in time, like with Doctor Strange and him trying to save his love and stuff, wasn't a Nexus event. It was a thing that you cannot, but because Nexus beings can affect the timelines and stuff, but there's certain points in time, and I forgot the proper terminology, that no matter what cannot be affected, no matter by anyone and stuff. It kind of what keeps the fabric of the timeline kind of moving forward. And
so a Nexus event has to happen on every timeline, essentially. And like what you're talking about, the standard point of time is just on a particular timeline. Like it has to happen to keep the timeline moving, whereas a Nexus event is something that kind of happens with whatever Nexus being is on that timeline.
Yes.
We could do a whole tribe show on Nexus events, honestly.
It's been a minute. I need to brush up on this. It's like freaking science class at some point in time.
You know what? Can we put that on the list for our next, whenever we do our next recording of Tribe?
Absolutely, I think so.
Talk about Nexus events and standard points of time.
Yeah, fixed points in time. Yeah.
All right, we'll put it on the list.
I'll put on the professor hat and absolutely go through that and brush up.
I will be the Amanda of Imagine That on here, and I'll take some notes for us so we can have it.
Oh, good for you, Lou. It's about time you do something down there.
Really? You showed up late, okay?
No. You only missed one show. I mean, one.
And it was because of you, not you, David. Sam.
As he points out to me.
Yeah, like, yeah, you set me up for failure. Way to go, teacher.
You're welcome.
So, speaking of the artwork and stuff and design, I mean, it was brilliant. It paid homage to the '90s cartoon drawing style, but it was improved. It was better, a lot crisper, a lot brighter. The intros were amazing. The narrations, you can kind of tell who the storyline was going to be about, because who gets to narrate what's of the what's going to happen or on previous episodes. That was really, really cool. The little tweaks they did with it was, I thought it was great. Variety mentioned that they're actually Disney might be submitting this for their for best animation. And for Emmy and stuff like that, which I agree, they should absolutely do that. I including storyline and the writing and stuff. We have season 2 ready, and I'm gonna do as much as I'm like, let's kind of take that break and that refresh and stuff. I don't want to take that long of a break. If season 2 is ready, maybe give us like after Deadpool, right in fall. Let's just do two in a single year. I'm good with that and stuff. But it better not be. Here's my only thing is, and this is what worries me. I'm a bigger fan. I didn't really know too much about Bo DeMaio. So him being the showrunner and being like right before the show even started, and seeing how season 1 started. I mean, unless there's some children stuff or something. I mean, let's take another look at that relationship, because season 2, I'm assuming it's going to be a banger. And if it is, we're going to hear a lot of calls for like, hey, fix where we need to fix and bring back that team so they can continue on this magical ride and stuff. But the difficult thing, we heard the little things of rumors about, well, there's some OnlyFans stuff, and then they kind of dismissed that and saying, well, it was a difficult work. That's Hollywood. And the thing is, he wasn't that difficult because he worked on a lot of different shows and a lot of different movies and a lot of different things. So,
I mean, as Lou said last night, at this point, that's how most teachers are making living wages. I mean, it's all over TikTok. It's all over TikTok. There are a lot of teachers with spicy links in bio. I am not one of them. Don't go looking. I do not have one, and I will not have one.
That was mildly out of context, just saying. But yes,
I'm just saying, like, if teachers are doing it, like, can we really chastise other people for doing it?
The truth is, we don't really know what the riff was, what caused the firing and stuff.
Yeah.
I just hope that they can fix it, and it's not something that he should be serving prison time with. So,
and I hope it's not because Disney's being afraid of what's going on in Florida and all that, and they're like, we want to keep our distance from him because he's gay and stuff like that. I really hope Disney's not going that route.
No,
but if it's because he has an OF and gay, like that's not a reason why to let him go.
No.
I mean, but the thing is, I think Disney has gone to war to kind of protect their ability to hire who they want and celebrate who they want. And yeah, I mean, I get that, but I mean, they basically told Florida to go F themselves and got away with it. So
I mean, y'all gave James Gunn another shot, so
yeah. I don't see any reason why Bo shouldn't be still going. And me personally, forget bringing if you could bring him on the X-Men 97, great. I want him running the live action X-Men.
Oh, absolutely.
Number one. Because he gets the characters. And you can tell that he's read the comics and he loves the characters.
You can tell he's a fan.
Yeah.
So if he hasn't hurt anyone, then there's no reason that they should be addressing it the way that they are. Or honestly, just be real with us and be like, hey, he has hurt someone, so we're done. I hate how they do everything behind closed doors at this point, but I understand why they do. It's because they really messed up with Johnny Depp.
Well, but not even that though. I mean, it doesn't matter if you hurt someone or not. I mean, you look at just take the last 5 years, and I know this isn't the show for it, but if you take the last 5 years, the reasons for firing on so many different levels are not even the word bad has so many different layers for people that have been fired from Disney. It's like, what is bad and what do you just not agree with? So, I mean, there's those different levels of it. And that's the hard part is he may have not hurt someone. I mean, heck.
The thing is, if you're not breaking the law and you're doing something in your personal life, technically, do they have jurisdiction to fire you?
Well, there's there's law, there's law, there's contract. I mean, perfect example, the lady from Mandalorian. So there's law, there's what you sign your life for.
Well, I mean, I understand that they do have a contract that says they can't paint Disney as part of their representation in a negative light, but I mean,
what's considered negative light?
Yeah.
Personally, that lady was going to cost Star Wars even more money that they already were using. So that was a business decision.
And she wasn't a main character, despite what anyone says and stuff. She
and the thing is, it's not look, we're obviously still wanting to consume the media,
so
regardless of what the accusations are against him. I don't know. It's a weird gray area, and I think they just haven't given people freedom to be people.
But at the same time, we do have to give them the benefit of the doubt because, I mean, they let James Gunn come back and finish Guardians. So, I mean, and at the time of his situation when he got let go, his name was just gone from Disney in general. And then, I mean, he went to the trenches. They went to the trenches. Warner Brothers offered him some money, and it shook up some dirt. So he came back. So no one's saying that they can't come back. But, I mean, at what point do they say, you know what, I'd rather not. I want the red carpet if I'm coming back, kind of like what Johnny Depp's doing. Not that he doesn't deserve it, but at the same time, never mind. You guys know my views on that one.
Well, here's the thing with the gun thing. I mean, there was a lot of pressure, also pressure from the actors and the cast and stuff too. I mean, they were happy just to make their decision and just let it just kind of disappear into the ethos and stuff. So that's why I bring up the conversation and stuff, just because other podcasters, other people who are fans of X-Men and stuff, just because they also bring up the conversation. They kind of just keep it and make sure it just doesn't get swept under the rug. If he did something, then yeah, I'm not going to fault Disney or anything. But if there's something that can be worked out that, you know, that we don't, I'm not screaming, set them on fire and bury them under the gel, then figure out a way to work it out and stuff. Just want to keep the conversation going that we know who was responsible for making this really killer content. We know who did season 1 and season 2. We're excited for season 2 to come out and stuff. It's one of their highest rated content out there. It has a 98% Rotten Tomatoes certified. The writing's good. So we want to make sure that the person who's responsible for bringing this into the Disney and the Marvel ethos at least have a shot. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but just for consideration purposes, worth mentioning. That's all I'm going to say.
And speaking of next season, before we close out, let's talk about what we want to see from next season. Ryan, I'm going to go to you first.
All right. So I forgot to bring this up during animation, and I hope they continue doing this, constantly changing their costumes, giving me all the different costumes. I want Kitty Pryde. She's been underused in almost everything X-Men related. Obviously, I already mentioned Magic and Colossus. I want them. I look forward to the whole storyline of meeting Rachel. I hope they actually explain that. We have proven now that us fans are smart enough to understand what hell Cable's whole deal is. We can Rachel Summers as well. I want a Gambit coming back. I'm wishy-washy. It's the X-Men. Nobody stays dead forever.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's such a good death. I don't want to ruin it. But if we're bringing back Hugh Jackman's Wolverine from Logan, which is still one of the greatest deaths ever, we could bring back Remy. I want more than 10 episodes.
Yes.
I want more time for stories to breathe.
Yeah.
Like I was a little harsh on my grade at the very beginning of this, and not because I didn't love and enjoy it. It's because I love and enjoy the source material so much, and like I want these stories to be able to breathe. I'm trying to think, what else could I ask? I guess a little more Wolverine. Like I even said, I don't need a lot of Wolverine because I get him everywhere. We're already going to get him in Deadpool as it is, but maybe a little more Wolverine. Give more something more than just Easter eggs and comedy. Like they are not a very important character in comics or even in the show and the previous, but they deserve a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, just keep up the good work. I guess keep the animation great.
Lou, what about you?
So for me, honestly, I don't have anything that I'm expecting. I really just want to see. Again, I gave it a 10 for the overall nostalgia feel and the animation. I'm a sucker for it. So for me, as long as it's equally as good, I'll be just fine. I'm not asking a lot. I'm not expecting a lot just because I like this one just being fun. I really enjoy it for what it is. Don't put too much effort into it, but then again, don't cut back effort. Really just go in open-minded. So as long as it's as good as what we got, I'll be just fine.
All right, Blerd Hulk, what do you want to see?
I'm going to see a little bit more of the bad guys in here. You know, I see a little bit more Dr. Doom, a little more of Zemo. I know they're not going to be big baddies because that's pretty much solidified as who's that going to be. I would like to see the progression of Cyclops. I want to see Cyclops maybe go rogue and do what Captain America did when they were faced with that decision in Civil War and stuff. And Cyclops does his own thing, and whatever that looks like from the future and stuff. If he gets returned back to the present, I would like to see more cameos that are a little bit more longer in like some of the story arcs. So like maybe we get Fantastic Four for an episode or two. Would love to see that. See, if we get that, then little King. I wouldn't. No, God, no. I wouldn't be opposed to Silver Surfer and stuff like that. If we do get that, because I'm saying these things specifically because I want Spider-Man. I want the animated series. I want the Fantastic Four animated series. I don't need the Silver Surfer animated series. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I want some more cameos, more stories, and that kind of will help push and make some decisions to give us more, because I love what they're doing with this updated cartoon content and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna see a little bit more of that. So, and I don't want feral. I do not want feral Wolverine. I like to see more Wolverine, and I understand the storyline behind the Animania. Thank you. Holding him at bay as far as he's turning not turning full feral into a Wolverine monster and stuff. So now that Magneto sucked that out of him, I don't want to see that. I want to figure. I'm okay with Bone Claw Wolverine and him struggling with whatever he has to struggle with and stuff. No feral dumb Wolverine. So
I couldn't agree more about the feral Wolverine. And then, by the way, when you mentioned feral, I thought you were talking about the character from X-Force Feral. I'm like, yes, we don't want her either.
No.
But I really don't want feral Wolverine. Like, I hate that storyline too.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so I think for me, after today's conversation, I am most excited to have a chance to look at source material and read some of these comic books before we go into the next season and kind of just like for me, it's always really exciting when I take something from the comic books and it plays out on the big screen or on the an animated series. For me, that gets super exciting. So I think that's what kind of pulled me out of it this time, is I didn't have that background knowledge. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that for this upcoming season. I would like to see more Nightcrawler, but as we discussed earlier, not the religious, ultra gentle,
but that's
super
kind of
personable
part of his thing.
It is, but like he has that that suave nature where he's a ladies' man.
He's telenovela.
Yeah.
He's
okay, well, I want to see him be Romeo. Like, can I see him be Romeo? I would like that element there.
Louis, you've had enough of the love stories.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I get it's a soap opera, but
here's the thing: is like I don't need. That's the thing is I don't need to see him in like this deep romantic love story. I can see him be a little bit of a player.
I mean, I get it's for X-Men, but 50 Shades of X-Men is a bit much for me. Can we draw that back just a little bit? Just a wee little bit. Not everybody has to be in love. I mean, I get it, they are, but it's like every episode, it's like the bingo card was like where they got it. They're the couple. Like, draw. But
I agree about the Fantastic Four too, David.
Yeah.
As far as Louis goes, Louis, I love you.
You need to stop that aggressiveness. That is way too much. Okay. I hope we get the animated series though, like they did with this though. I hope we get it to where it's that nostalgia look. Don't get me wrong. What If is top 3 for me. I love the style of it, but let What If be modern MCU. If you're gonna go nostalgia, stick to this style. I love it. That was my favorite part. Like that intro, the first few episodes when we were watching them, I'd be in my car. Like listening to it like on stereo. Then I found some cool trap music version of it, and it's like 3 minutes long. It's even better. But overall, I love it. Give us more.
You guys share that trap version of it, by the way.
Exactly. I was like, why have I not received this trap version?
Yeah, put that in the link. If you're in a Patreon, we'll post it maybe.
Oh, we could put it in Discord.
Yep, there we go.
My daughter constantly hums that song now. She had a little cameo if you didn't see her in the corner, but constantly hums that song now. Like, nice. I want her to love baseball like me. I want her to love X-Men like me. Everything else, be your own self. Baseball. So far, if anything, that might be my favorite part of this whole cartoon. They gave my daughter more love for the X-Men. Wolverine loves the stupid one-liners. So I'm like, when Lou said Wolverine was his least favorite, I'm like, my daughter's gonna have words for you, Lou.
I mean, it was rough.
No, but it's great when we can share our passions and make it like a shared love with our children. My daughter used to do, when she was 3 or 4, she used to do like little segments for us that she would record her little version of recaps of WandaVision. And we would put them in our episodes and she would just like tell us what happened in the episode. And I will tell you, I told her she cannot go see Deadpool with me. She is livid. livid. And I'm like, honey, it's not for kids. Like, there are things that are just not appropriate for you. And she's like, well, I've seen other things that are PG-13. And I was like, this is completely different.
Hey, Lou. Hey, I bet you we'll get a Moon Knight cameo next season.
Oh,
just for you.
Okay, if they do it right, you guys have heard it from me. I want them to leave Moon Knight absolutely alone, except for his journey, and let him team up with like the spiritual Marvel characters like Blade, all that stuff. Let that go. But for the love of gosh, don't touch
We'll
him.
see some. I think we'll see some Khonshu.
Don't touch him.
Leave all three of him alone.
Watch the last episode. Just do that tonight, man.
I will.
I like this tangent. Moon Knight, Ghost Rider.
Yes.
You like Saintana or
let's
like not spiritual, more evil. Like not.
But let's do that. So a
little Blade kind of popping in.
Damon Hellstrom or somebody like that.
Hellstrom, yes.
Oh, what's her name? If you guys watched it, the Man Thing, or it wasn't Man Thing. What was it called? Oh, had Man Thing in it. Yeah, Elsa Bloodstone. Boom. You got a team there. Boom. Elsa Bloodstone. You got all them. Boom. We would love that.
Midnight Sun, baby.
I think we're about to wrap up, right? Anybody have anything else they want to say about this first season of X-Men 97?
No, this is dope. I love that. I thought it was well done.
All right. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. You are welcome here in the tribe anytime.
Hey.
We loved your insight. So you're about to become our new X-Men expert over here.
Daredevil also works too.
All right.
And if you guys ever watch Invincible and want to talk Invincible, I read a lot of comics.
Oh, hell yes.
I've read that
good.
entire series 2 times.
Dude, I have a lot. I'm just getting into the Invincible, and I'm about to start reading the content and stuff because I need to know more about the power bases for some of these characters and stuff in there. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm hooked.
It's Kirkman's best work, 10 times better than Walking Dead. And I loved the show Walking Dead, but like especially comic-wise, I would rather read Invincible than Walking Dead.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we'll make sure Lou add Ryan to the Marvel Tribe chat.
I can't on social media. He's one of the brave ones. Not on
social
you're
media.
not?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do scroll. I had to get rid of it.
But I will play middleman and link him up with us to get him on the show if and when needed, and I will throw the topics out to him. And when he's down, he's down.
For sure.
Right. So sounds like a plan.
Lou, I'm about to hit the play at the end after I say this. So will you hit end recording when it's over?
Yes.
All right. So feel the pulse in your chest so you know you're alive. What, Amber?
Are you rated by Star Wars?
Hey.
Star Wars just came into our tribe.
Marvel just got rated by our Star Wars expert.
Couldn't help it. Lewis is like, I'm finishing up the other one right now, and I'm like, oh, I see you. I'll pop in. This is the best X-Men ever, by the way. Yes. So I'll just put that 2 cents in and then peace out.
Right on. We all agree. Thank you for gracing us with your presence there. Check out her show too.
Knights of the Rogue Republic.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're closing out, and I will go right back into our exit here. So feel the pulse in your chest so you know you're alive. One team, one love. It's
the tribe.